Hi, my name is Dara, and today I'll be talking about Stripe and why I came to love it. Stripe offers a complete payment platform for online businesses. Accepting payment from customers is the core of any business, so it is important to choose a payment gateway that is simple to integrate and has the services you need. With Stripe, you can set up one-time payment products and subscriptions, and send automatic receipts and invoices, among many other features. If you're planning to offer a vast range of products for your e-commerce business, you may also store all of your SKUs inside of Stripe and retrieve them directly from your client application. Oh, one more thing I love about Stripe is their support team. If we run into trouble as a developer, trust me, it happens all the time. We can talk directly to the developers in their Discord channel, and for me, that's a great bonus. Stripe Checkout is a checkout page securely hosted by Stripe. All the UI elements, including their functionalities, are already taken care of. This saves a lot of efforts for a developer, as implementing these details is quite time-consuming. The second release of Stripe checkout process was greatly improved compared to the first version. The checkout page is now in full page mode, is beautifully designed, is even responsive, and can be translated to different languages. In this tutorial, we will cover Stripe Checkout without the need to call a backend server. I will show you from beginning to end how to lead your customer from your front-end application to a Stripe Checkout session, where they can enter their customer profile and payment information that eventually converts to a purchase. Continuing the payment flow, your customer will be returned to your website to the appropriate page, depending on if they have paid successfully or canceled the session. When you have decided to go with Stripe, head over to their website stripe.com and click on Sign In. And then sign up to create an account. Here, enter your email address, your full name, and the country where your business is registered. Set up password, and then hit on Create Account. After you signed up, you are being redirected to the Stripe dashboard. Don't forget to verify your email, so go to your inbox and click on Verify Email Address. Now we're back at the dashboard. Note that we're being defaulted to the test mode. That's because we haven't completed activating our account yet. Only when you're ready to go live that you can do so. If you're not sure where to start, there's a link here that leads to the documentation on how to build a subscription. Also, this guide shows you how to create a product and a price for the product. And this is what we're gonna do. So let's create a product. Go to the Products tab and click on Add Product. Assign a name to the product you will be selling. For my example, it'll be Design Plus Code React Hooks course. If you want, you can set a description for your product, like learn how to build a website with React hooks. In the additional options, you can add a statement descriptor that will override your account descriptor. This information will be shown on the customer's charge. Then choose a unit label associated to your product. Generally, a seat is assigned to a subscription. We will leave all of this section empty. Creating a price is done on the same page as the product, if there isn't any for that product yet. For the pricing model, there are 4 options. Let's see, the standard pricing. So all the price is the same per unit. The package pricing, the price is per bundle of units. Graduated pricing, the price per unit decreases as quantities increase. the price is different per unit for each pricing tier. For volume pricing, the price per unit decreases also as quantities increase. However, it's the same price per unit for every unit. In our case, select standard pricing for our pricing model and enter $19 in US. And since this is a one-time purchase kind of product, select one time. In the additional options, you may enter an internal note in the price description field. This information won't be displayed publicly. And once you're done entering all the information, save your product. One last step to complete, go to the settings icon. Under business settings, select account details and add a name for the account. And then save. And there you have it. With just a few steps, you're already ready to start testing. To be able to use Stripe Checkout in a client application, Stripe's own library is needed, Stripe.js. I will go over on how to install that library and load an instance of Stripe. In addition to the basic importing, there's an option to defer instantiating Stripe and activate fraud detection. I will explain all that in details later on. We have already prepared a template for you at codesandbox.io to start with in the design code team. That includes some UI and routing so we can focus on implementing Stripe right away. Let's start with creating a new code sandbox by forking the Stripe checkout template. Just double-click on it. We will be using Stripe.js library to integrate the payment system. So add the package at Stripe.js as a dependency. Search here by typing Stripe and choose this one. Now it is installing the library. Expand the components folder, go to checkout.js, and then import load Stripe from Stripe.js. This will create a Stripe object once Stripe has finished loading. Now call load Stripe and save it into a Stripe promise. Stripe promise is equal to load Stripe. Here we need to pass in a publishable key. Now access your Stripe dashboard and go to Developers. From the sidebar, API keys, and retrieve the publishable key by copying it. Back to our code sandbox. Here we want to make sure that we save the publishable key in the .env file. So create a file called .env. Saving your API keys in a private file will avoid committing them in your source control. The key has to be prefixed with React_app for a React app to allow the use of this key in client side. Then Stripe key equal, paste your API key. Go back to checkout.js. To retrieve the key that you have saved in the .env file, call it from process.env.react_app Stripe key. If you wish to defer instantiating Stripe, let's say to improve the performance of your website, you can load Stripe only when the user checks out. We can create a function to load Stripe if it's null or return it if there's already an instance of it. Constant get Stripe no argument here. So if there is no Stripe promise, then we can move this line of code here. Then remove the constant, create a let instead. Now, if there's already a Stripe promise object, then just return it. Now you can call that function right before you redirect the user to checkout. It is recommended to include Stripe.js throughout your whole site, as this allows Stripe to detect suspicious user behavior and prevent frauds. Stripe offers advanced fraud functionality, to your advantage, I might say, by tracking the customer's activity as they browse your website and other sites that also accept payments via Stripe. Card testing is a real serious problem. I would say that the benefit of detecting fraud outweighs the disadvantage of user tracking. To read more about it, visit their documentation on the subject. To include Stripe.js in the root of a React application, import it in app.js. Import at stripe/stripe.js. And we're done. For the next part, we want to set things up for creating a checkout session. First, we need to define a cart item in checkout.js. Constant item is an object with a price ID Here, go to your Stripe dashboard, products, get back to the product that we created earlier, copy the price, and paste. For the quantity, set as 1. Define another object for checkout options. Constant checkout options. For line items, which is an array of all the items, we will only set 1, which is from above. The mode is payment for a one-time payment. Then we need to set the success URL and the cancel URL. Now, the success URL and cancel URL is to redirect your user after checking out, whether they have completed the payment successfully or canceled their checkout process altogether. The domain will be the current domain, and we will read it from window.location.origin. The path will be success. Copy and paste to the cancel URL. The path will be canceled. There are many more options to add. For example, you may want to add the customer email if the user is already logged into your website. See Stripe redirect to checkout reference to find out more. Next, create a function redirect to checkout that calls getStripe to get an instance of Stripe, and then use Stripe's function redirect to checkout. Constant redirect to checkout. This one is an async function. let's console log this. And constant Stripe equal to await get Stripe. Now await Stripe dot redirect to checkout and pass in your checkout options. This function returns a promise error if there's any, and we will save that into a variable. Constant error. And for the moment, we can console log that error. Stripe checkout error and the variable error. Now attach this function to the onClick event of the checkout button. Here, on click, scroll to redirect to checkout. Now, let's test this. Click on the buy button, and we got an error. The checkout client only integration is not enabled. Enable it in the dashboard. So let's go to the address linked here. Scroll down. Here, enable client only integration. Allow. Let's go back to the code sandbox and try again. Okay, it seems that nothing happens. However, in the console log, the redirect to checkout is being called. That's because Stripe checkout is not supported in Code Sandbox, and I'm not sure why. Just open the browser in a new window. Try again. And now everything works fine. Great. Let's cancel the checkout process and click on the back button. As you can see, we're being redirected to the cancel page. However, it's just a blank page. Even though we have established the success and cancel URLs in the checkout options, we haven't created the components yet. Let's do that with adding new files, success.js, and cancel.js in the components folder. For the success page, we will just display a simple title and message. Constant success or an arrow function, return div h1 will be just to know which page we are on, and then for another element h2, thank you for your purchase. Now export by default our function copy, and paste to the cancel page. Let's change success to cancel, and the message to display is your payment was cancelled. Then import those components in app.js and add their respective routes. Import success from components success. Same goes for cancel. Import cancel from components cancel. Then add the route for cancel with the path as success. The element is the component were imported. And same goes for cancel. Let's test again. Going back to the home page and open the app in a new window. Go to checkout. Nice. And now cancel the process. Great. Now we see the appropriate title and display message. So now when you cancel the checkout, you're being redirected to the appropriate cancel page and not an inexisting route. This time, let's test a payment. Go to the home page again. Click on the Buy button. On the Stripe checkout page, we're going to have to enter all the information necessary. The email, the card information will be 42424242, blah, blah, blah. That's card number that will generate a successful payment. The expiration date will be any date in the future. The month will be January 22. Any number for CVC. The name on the card. And the postal code. Again, anything. And click on Pay. The payment is being processed. And when the color is green, that means the payment was successful. This time, because the payment went through, we're being redirected to the success page. Next, let's take care of error handling. In the event of a checkout error, we should be displaying an error message to the user of the failure reason. For this, let's go back to Code Sandbox and checkout.js. We will set the state for the error. First, let's import useState from React. Here, use the useState constant Stripe error set Stripe error useState. The initial value will be null. Remember that redirect to checkout returns a promise error if any. Here. we can in fact save the message of that error to the new state if error set Stripe error as the error dot message. Don't forget to display the error message to the user with an alert. If Stripe error alert the Stripe error itself. It would be a good idea to disable the button if the user is being redirected to Stripe checkout. For this, we need to add another state for loading. Constant is loading set loading is equal to use state. The initial value is false. It is set to true right after the user clicks on the checkout button. So when the function is being called, set loading to true. And then back to false after the checkout. Go to the button element and disable it when it is loading. For feedback, show the user that they're being redirected and wait patiently. This will avoid the user of repeatedly clicking on the button. The text for the button should be showing loading instead of buy when it is loading. So add a logic is loading. If so, then show loading 3 dots. Otherwise, show buy. Let's have a final test. Again, click on the buy button. There you go, you have the right text. Awesome. Before we go, we should check out whether we have received the money from the payment that went through earlier. On Stripe's dashboard, go to Payments. It looks like we got paid. Woohoo! All is good. In this tutorial, you have learned how to set up an account, add a product and pricing, include the Stripe.js library to your application in the recommended way, and create a checkout session only with front-end code. You have also set up routes to lead your customer back to your website after the payment is done or when they cancel. Although client-only integration is quick, simple, and easy, for a sustainable real application, it is preferable to use method server integration, as it is more customizable, powerful, and supports more features. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching and see you next time.